Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So last time I did my review on this camera here, this is the Pixii Plus from the Pixii camera company. They're out of France. They're a small company that started making rangefinder digital style cameras without a digital back. So this camera is very similar, for those who have it, to M11, M10D experience, right? And I gave you guys a couple of reviews on this camera, my thoughts on it, one of them very long. And as you guys can see, I have this camera decked out with the Voigtlander 21mm on here. This is the f3.5. I got the Voigtlander 21mm viewfinder on the top of it. And, you know, along with the Akira Labs Slim Skin, and I put the description, or I should say website, in the description last time for this. This helps for a very great ergonomic experience with this camera and holding it for a few hours and taking some pictures, and also protecting the camera in a lot of ways as well. And I wanted to come back to you guys because I've been getting some questions about this camera, which I asked for, and I'm glad I'm getting them so I can answer for you guys. And I've been answering those questions as I get them from the past videos as well as the YouTube shorts. And I wanted to come back after having this for almost a year. It hasn't quite been a year, but it's close enough, and give you guys another rundown on this camera and where I'm at right now with this camera. How do I use it? And to help you guys, I guess, determine, for those of you who might be on the fence, if this camera is right for you. So again, why did I get this camera? Well, I like shooting rangefinder film cameras, particularly like a rangefinder film cameras, because right now the rangefinder film camera selection is very limited, right? I think the RD1 is one which is hard to get, and it's the same price as getting the, almost in some cases if not more, depending on condition, as getting a Leica camera. And then you also have some other ones out there, older ones, that but as far as I know, it's generally Leica that folks are going after. And I had one, and I upgraded it to the Leica MP, and I like the full experience of shooting film on a rangefinder camera. I like the full experience of shooting film in general and the process behind it. And it led me to get the Pixii, because why? I didn't even right now didn't want to spend the money on getting a Leica D style camera, and this was, or is still, cheaper than that, brand new. So let's get on about this camera and where I'm at now, where it stands. Let's start with, yes, I still like shooting this camera a lot. Even with the things about this camera that a lot of folks would steer clear of it from, the major thing being it doesn't have a digital back. That's a code shoe at the top. It's an electronic shutter only, so I can't use flash with this camera. It's a small company. They are getting along and making their products. They even have a Max, right? They have a Pixii Max that's out there. That's a 24 full frame megapixel camera. And one of the processes around this camera is that I can upgrade this camera for roughly, I want to say now with unfortunately tariffs and things like that, $1,700. I can upgrade this APS-C 26 megapixel camera to that max. So the whole process around the company is funky and I love it, right? Not that they're an underdog or anything like that, but I love it. Its support right now, it's Lightroom D&Gs are great. It does have some film styles on it. They're okay, but I can, because of that D&G file, can go into Lightroom and do some things. I would like to do more in the Capture One, but they're not there yet, either because they need to work with Capture One or vice versa. When it comes to the shooting of this camera, there are some quirks. I get a fault because the camera is not ready and it does a double beep. Does it more often than not sometimes, and I find that I'm better off shooting almost, if not in full manual, which is not a problem because that's how I shoot. I like a camera to a point, right? This camera is full manual. Yes, it has a light meter like this one, but I find that, you know, I just love the experience. And as I've moved to shoot this camera in full manual, I really have come to enjoy shooting this camera. And that honestly could be said about the Leica digital cameras as well. Shooting those cameras in full manual to me are a way better experience than shooting them with some of the auto settings. Now I will say there's things about this camera that I was a little about now that I've had it for almost a year, and that's one is that, you know, that shutter button material is deteriorating faster than I thought it would. Everything still clicks nicely. All the buttons on the back still click nicely. I actually saw, and I give them the points in the company, and they're actually listening to the people that have the camera, the owners of these cameras, because I've seen where on the Max the button has been changed out to one similar to the back where it has the teeth on it. I don't know if it's more rubber like that. I hope it is, because the rubber-ish material on the top of this shutter button is not holding up. And it's been not a year since I've had this camera, and I pretty much got this camera on pretty much almost open box quality from B&H. So as I get on with this camera and the quirks and everything, I still like shooting this camera. The experience I have from shooting this camera is, again, my digital version of shooting my Leica rangefinder film camera. So if you are, again, looking for that experience and that D-series cameras along the lines of what you'd like to get, but the price isn't quite right even used, you could look at getting the Pixii to give you that experience. Things that I think I've had to get along with this camera to deal with it and still enjoy my experience. First off, again, I'll go back to it. I want them to be able to get more support with the processors out there, the post-processing softwares. Yes, I can pull this into my Capture One software, but it isn't, I don't know if it's quite supported yet. And I can say that because when I look at the metadata for one, I don't see a lot of the information. Like, I don't see what camera that the image was captured in. JPEGs literally say the name of JPEG still, which I think is interesting. I don't know if that's Pixii and them needing to do something in their firmware, because I see that also with Lightroom. I can pull the JPEGs into Lightroom. I can pull the D&Gs into Lightroom. I can pull the D&Gs into Capture One. I cannot pull the JPEGs into Capture One. Capture One does not see JPEGs only. So if I've only shooting JPEG one day and decide I want to pull them into Capture One, that ain't happening. I still prefer that they put a hot shoe on this camera. And I understand that it won't happen because this is an electronic shutter only, but maybe they need to get and take a cue from somebody, a competitor, maybe not direct competitor, but a competitor. Nikon, I think Sony, Panasonic probably needs to do the same thing with the S9, pull a page from Nikon. And the reason I say these guys more than Panasonic is because at least the S9 is a far cheaper camera than this one. But I'd like to see them figure something out the way Nikon did with that electronic shutter and using flash, because I would like to use flash on this. I'm finally getting into using flash for my street photography, And I got some brands who've reached out to me with some flashes to use. Neweer recently, I just did a video for that. I just got contacted by a representative from Godox, an authorized dealer, and they want to work with me. So I'm going to hopefully have something up here soon for that. And yeah, I want to be able to connect a small flash from the top of this and get some images as well, which could in turn help with one thing that you have to really be careful with when it comes to electronic shutters only cameras, which is banding. Now I will say the banding experience I've had on this as it is now, it's been great. I tend to shoot a lot of street photography, outdoor, well-lit scenarios. We're not dealing with manufactured light, we'll say. So I don't see the banding because of that. But when I do shoot indoors, I do need to make sure that my lighting scenario is good. And what I mean by that is that it's a good light source. It's a good bright light source. That doesn't mean it won't be any banding, but it helps in post-processing for me to work with Lightroom and Capture One, because these softwares have some really good tech in them now to where it helps to reduce that banding down to a small amount, if completely get rid of it altogether. The other thing I tend to do is I will play with this camera when I'm in an indoor situation the best I can. Again, I don't have a digital screen to let me know what my settings are like and be able to see that what I'm doing on my setup is great. But what I do have is the app. Now, the app has been great to work with. Like, really great to work with. Better than I thought it was going to be. And the reason I say that is because this camera doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi. Another feature that for me, they will need to put in their cameras eventually. Again, not only because of the added benefit it gives to your connection to the app and what you can do with this camera, like downloading the DNGs instead of just JPEG only to the camera, because these days cameras come with a lot of memory. They have their own editors on them for images and video, and you can actually do some editing on that image and be able to then post it to social media if that's what you want to do, or to whatever you want to do with it. The other part of that is having the Wi-Fi in this camera and the better communication in this camera is I can do updates too, and they do firmware updates and software updates, so that would also be great. But it also gives me control of the camera. I have that now with Bluetooth with this, and I can take images and take shots and stuff like that. But when it comes to what I was going with this, which is image review, when I am in a lighting situation indoors and I want to make sure my stuff is good, I can still go to the app and see a high res, if you will, view of that image to see that I'm on point with my lighting, to see if I'm having any banding issues. And it's actually very quick. The connection between the app and this phone is very quick on the Bluetooth, and it gives me the ability to technically use the Bluetooth as my LCD screen that I would have on this camera and give me a good idea that my image is looking the way I want, outside of course, looking through the viewfinder and seeing where my exposure is based on everything. I can use the app. So I've been really happy with the app and using that very quickly to do those things that I would do if this camera actually had a digital back on it. So where am I at totally experience wise on this camera? It's a keeper. It is definitely a keeper in my stable. I don't see a need for me to get rid of this camera at all and continue to enjoy it. What I do see a need for is probably an upgrade. Now, I've reached out to Pixii about the upgrade process to kind of get an idea of it, especially with everything that's going on right now with tariffs and everything that's going on right now with the country and our relationships with other countries, right? And found out that the process isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and that I could also make requests for things to be worked on, like that shutter button that's deteriorating on the top with the material, the rubberized, whatever the material is on the top. I don't like it. I'd rather it be more like the button on the back. So there you go, guys. Other things that if I missed, definitely hit me in the comments with. Let me know what other questions you guys have as I continue to get on with this camera. This still is a part of my EDC kit when I want it. And like I said, my kit comes with digital and film, and I have gone out with this combination before. So yeah, it's a keeper. hit me in the comments, hit the like button, guys, helps the channel. Hit the subscribe button, definitely helps the channel. And the way I see YouTube is going now with camera related content, I'm really gonna need you guys to hit the like button and hit those comments so that this video can get out, you know, and get the love that I think it deserves, or hopefully the love you think it deserves. I'll see you guys on the next one. It's time for me to finish this iced coffee with adult content in it that I'm learning to make after, or at least replicate, from the Who Dat restaurant in New Orleans. Fantastic place if you ever get to New Orleans, Nolans, if I'm saying that right, and get you a wonderful adult iced coffee. Have a good one, guys. See you in the next video. Very delicious.